All right. Well, we might as well get started. Welcome back to the stream, the channel. If you like what you're seeing, definitely please like and subscribe. Hit that notification on YouTube so you know when our next upload happens. So in the last episode, the last video, we started building up our bill of materials in Odo for the SMT level assembly. And I went ahead, like I said, went through and corrected some of the entries that weren't there, added them to Odo, and then added the parts to the BOM, to the SMT level. So that is our surface mount level board assembly. So now we're going to build up what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this because it's going to make it much easier. So we're going to go to products. Call it assembly level. Assembly level. We definitely don't perch it either. All right. That won't worry about. Category. So we don't have anything for assembly level. So we're just going to do that. Call it assembly level goods because we're going to have other things in there. Save. Now our reference. So what we're going to do is open that link in a new tab. I like working with multiple tabs. It's just easier on me. So we're going to go here, go in here. Here. PCB level. PCB assembly level. So then inventory, we don't have to worry about that. So we've got assembly level. We're going to go and save this because we need to add another item. So I've decided I'm going to make that fan, since it's technically a sub-assembly, we're going to make the fan its own product in the system. So let's kind of figure out what we want to call it. Let's go here. Let's look at the products. Let's kind of go to kind of see what it's here. Fan. So we just want to give it a unique name so we know what we're looking at. So it's going to be a fan. DC 5 volt. 40 assembly, and call that assembly only because cost we won't worry about because it's going to be category. It's going to be pulled from the BOM assembly level goods. So we're going to kind of go here. We're going to kind of borrow some of that description. So we're going to go home. Fan with plug and terminals. Kind of mix this up a little bit. 5 volt DC. 40 by 40. Okay, plug in terminals. Actually, what we're going to do is with JST for 4-circuit plug-in terminals. Okay, that'll work. We have no inventory. We're going to go ahead and save that, and we're going to give this guy a bill of materials. It's going to make one. We're going to manufacture it. So again, I'm going to go off of this guy but I'm going to move it off the screen so it's just easier for me to watch everything I'm doing. Basically, I'm just going to be adding a line. So we're going to need the fan. We're going to copy the part number. Line here. One fan there. Then let's see here. Here's the plug part. We need one of those. And then to make this is the terminals. We need 4. And then we're going to upload that. Compute costs from the BOM. Okay, so that is our fan assembly. Boom, that problem is solved. So we're going to go back to our product. So now we have a sub-assembly with a bill of materials. That way it's kind of separate because it's something that we could even use on another project down the road if it calls for a similar fan. This fan is something we could eventually turn into a sellable product as like replacements, or, you know, if somebody wants to use it, who knows. But this is just easier on us. If down the road we subcontract and have this fan assembled by a separate house, separate company that specializes in this type of work. That way we have a separate part number, and then we can receive it as a purchase good, and we can update Odo as a purchasable product. But right now it's something we're going to make in-house. So here we go back to our assembly level goods. So we have the fan assembly and the PCB assembly level. So now we're going to create the bill of materials. Now, one thing I want to catch before I move on is I was kind of just double checking, reviewing things as I was fixing those other parts. And I noticed we're going to need 2 more of these jumpers. One for the limit switch input and the control inputs. That way you could set it to internal ground as the input common. That way it's just easier and you don't have to use that. So we're going to need 2 more, one for J2 and J3. J1, J2, and J3. So we're going to go here, 3, boom. We're going to fix that. So we already did that, and the plugs. We're going to put that in yellow so we know we already entered them in the system. Okay. So now we're going to build up the assembly level. So basically it'll be the pluggables. Any now is this, did I mess something up here? That is CN6. That should be on the hopefully I didn't mess up. That should be on the BOM for the SMT level assembly. We'll double check that in a minute. I don't want to lose track where we are. But basically the pluggables. Well, these are actually the through hole part. Okay, all right, yeah. So CN6. Let's see what that is. Make sure that's not a through hole part. Because that's an SMT part and I screwed up something. CN6. CN4. I bet you that's... Yep, that is an SMT part. We will double check that. We'll ignore that for now. But everything else is through hole. So these are the through hole connectors. Let's see here. J1, J2, J3. Those are the through hole parts that we'll be using. J4 is the through hole part. Yeah, so there's a through hole pin headers. The test points, those are through hole. We'll add the jumper to this and then these pluggables. So the same principles will apply. So we'll go back to here. We're going to create a new bill of materials. Basically a manufacturer. So we're going to do SMT level assembly PCB. That's going to be the first thing. So then what that does is it makes this BOM have a requirement for the SMT level BOM. So we can't do this unless we have these boards in stock. So let's go ahead and add the fan assembly, because then that's another requirement. It requires that fan assembly to have a work order and be in stock. And now we're going to go through and add the rest of the through hole parts. So there's one of them. This is the 3 circuit. One of them. And this is the 4 circuit. And there's 3 of them. All right, that one. The other thing we'll go and double check in the surface mount, make sure it's there. Got to mess that up. Here are the through hole parts. There are 3 of those. This should be the 6-pin header for the UART interface. Yes, sir, it is. There we go there. It's another reason I do the spreadsheet thing. Now, we are going to populate these for now. 23 of these little boogers. Okay, now we're going to go and throw in the jumpers. Because technically we will count these as part of the assembly, because you'll want these with the finished goods. You could even have them be added during a test process, but sometimes it's just easier to have them added during the assembly level. That way they're just stuck with the board in a static bag. Altogether, you don't have to worry about it. And then you can run it through testing and you already have all the connectors and everything with it. That's 3 there. So there's that. That's that bill of materials. All right. So we've created our BOM. All right. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm going to close that guy. Let's go to the SMT level and make sure I did not KHS. So it's going to be a connector. KHS4B PH. Okay, so I did add it. I just forgot to highlight it on the BOM spreadsheet. So that's why I do this. Go through and use different color highlighting. I could have just used green, but it was the color was already up there, so it was just quicker to do that. But use green for good, yellow for caution, red for a bad problem. So just assume all this is green, so that means this is all good to go. We can leave it alone like this. It just means that it's been entered in. For me, I'm just using internally that it's been entered into a BOM and Odo. So we have our assembly level and our SMT level. So for grins, I think we touched on this barely. So we have our SMT level PCB. So update BOM. So what that's going to do is, since I made changes to the bill of material, it's going to pull it in and go through and double check our inventory. And again, everything's not available, which is to be completely expected. So when was the due date? I want to make sure January 31st. So we're going to make a new one. Let's see. Let's do the fan. Again, we'll do one of them. Again, that date is just there. So notice it. Okay, so filled in the BOM. We only need 1, 1, and 4. We're going to save that. And it gives it a work order number 2. And then we're going to create another one for assembly level PCB. So this is where it'd be good to know your parts. One, let's see here, December, let's just arbitrarily throw it there again. So again, not available. So now it creates all these dependencies. So we're going to save that. So in order to even begin this, I mean, we could technically begin it without the fan assembly, but this creates that dependence so that you know you're missing something. If it's not in inventory, you're missing it, and it's going to flag it here. It's going to red flag it. So the great thing about all that is, don't know why it's not showing anything there, but that's okay. Probably because I haven't confirmed it. There are quantities, 3 total boards we get entered into the system. So again, what's great about this is as you do your inventory, and you complete boards, it will consume them out of your inventory. It just makes life so much easier. So now what we have to do is let's go build up our purchase orders. Purchase. Now, typically, request for quotation. We're just going to skip that, create a purchase order. So it'd be kind of easy to use this BOM to do it too. Again, I'm going to drag that off to the side. We're going to create a new purchase order. Let's go ahead and do one for the circuit boards. Order deadline. Let's put it there. Expected arrival. Let's give that a date in the future. All right. So we need bare PCBs. We're probably going to order 10 of them. We're going to order the 2 stencil. Top, bottom. And we can fix all this. We'll fix all this. We'll update this with the pricing information they give us. So that's for JLC PCB. That's for the circuit boards. Now we're going to put together a purchase order for Mauser. Mauser. All right. Give it some crazy futuristic deadline. It's me being goofy. Expected arrival. Because as you use this system, especially arrival, you can use this to help track vendor performance. And that's actually a metric that would be traceable through ISO, would be a metric that you'd want to probably track. Actually, you will want to track it because it helps relate to vendor performance, vendor reliability. There's no data, so it won't be able to accumulate. But as you run through purchase orders and stuff, there will be data to accumulate. So now comes the fun part of building up what we need to order from Mauser. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently, only because it's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm just going to add a product. That way we can save this and generate a purchase order number. All right. We need a minimum of 4. All right. Minimum of 4. So I'm just going to save this. So it'll give us a purchase order number. We will fix this here in a minute. So I'm going to go to Mauser. Let me go here. I've got stuff in cart. I should have cleared it all out. Delete. It's because I was tracking something else. So, because here, I'll just drag this over here. I know I don't want to give anybody whiplash, keep changing this around, but using a second monitor really helps when you're trying to process this information. So the good thing is we're going to be using this column, the vendor part number column, because we're going to be buying pretty much from Mauser. So that's the number we need. We'll just copy. I'm going to drag this out of the way. I'll copy, paste that up here. So we need only 4 to build the first pilot board. We want to assume we want to build at least maybe 10. So we know we need for one board, we need a quantity of 4. So we need at least a minimum of 4. So 4, so we need like 40 ports. So then we can kind of look at our price break here. So we can just order 100. And here's where things are really going to hurt. We have to pay a tariff on top of that. But unfortunately, that's the name of the game. And to make my life easier, I'm dragging this back. As I add stuff to that, I'm going to make that green. And it's just going to be this column because that's what I'm going to be in copying and pasting out of. That way I have a different color and I can designate, say, hey, I've actually ordered these. Or they're in process. And here we go. All right. Now, what's great about these is low cost. So these are the 104 caps. I know through experience, these you will run through like water. If I really wanted to, I would order a full reel. I mean, I feel saucy and close to wanting to do that, but this is going to be a highly costly bomb right now. So we need 40. Let's see here. We need over 100 if we wanted to build 10 boards. So let's just order 200. Shopping. And I'm going to just keep going along. And this is the process. So we only need 440. These are not low cost. 40, let's go with 50. And then you'll run into this sometime. Even though you put in the exact part number, it'll do this to you. 8226 ME5D. And here's the problem. Those are on order. When will those get here? They won't get here till next year. So, one is we have to make a decision. Do we want to buy the alternate part number or a little bit more just to build the boards? Because then this is going to set the build back by several weeks. I can check DigiKey. Let's see if DigiKey has them. Because we may have to make 2 separate orders. In stock. All right. We can buy one. All right. They are in stock and a little cheaper, so we may have to build up and do a DigiKey order. That's fine. So I'm going to jump over that and we'll just do DigiKey. So let's look at the next part. Have them. We only need 2, so we only need 20. 40. Yeah, so it's not like Mauser's not going to get those capacitors in stock. And they have these. We need 1. We need 10 total. 15. Okay, we need just one of them. So 10. Let's go to 20. Because you definitely want to hold on to extras, especially when you're doing SMT parts like capacitors and stuff. Here we go. Tariffs. Hooray for tariffs. Hooray. I love tariffs so much. Ugh. All right. Let's see here. I only need one of these, so I need 10. Let's see, 20. Oh, 20 cents worth of tariffs. Jesus Christ. All right. We need 10 of these. Let's get 12. Because these typically you're not going to lose. Yeah, R&D, your initial development is where you're going to hurt yourself the most. 12. This is where your cost comes in. Because somebody has to pay for the parts. And if you're doing this for a customer, I need 3 of those. I need at least 30. So price break might be better at just 50. And that's the 4 connector. The 4 circuit. Yeah, 4 position. So, I'm okay with that. That's going to have more use in the long term. Yeah, so if you're doing this for customers, okay, it's in stock. I don't know why it did that, because I gave it the exact part number. We need at least 10, 15. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Tariff for a USB connector. Come on. Really? All right. Yeah. If you're doing this for a customer, you gotta make sure you get what you're spending back. But again, if you're following along with this video series, I don't spend money you can't afford to spend. It's not worth it. So we need 2. We'll need like 20. Let's get 30 of these guys. Everything's got tariffs on it. Everything. Yeah, let's bring manufacturing back to America. Like killing manufacturing in America. Yeah, that sounds like a winning plan to me. We only need 1 of those. That's the shot key. Yeah, we only need 1 of them. So 10, so 15. Yeah, brilliant planning. Brilliant planning, people. Let's fix manufacturing by breaking manufacturing. By making it so manufacturing can't do anything. Because, you need parts to build up the equipment to manufacture off of. So we need 5 of those. So 50. Yeah, we'll go there. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. And that's got tariffs and stuff in there. That's just sad. All right, that should be the LED. I need 1 of those. So that tariff, my God. I may have to go back and cut back some of these quantities just because. I'm just going to buy 10. Look at that. Tariffs over half the cost of one. Yay! Brilliant! Go America! Yeah, I meant to go through and fix some of these quantities. But honestly, how can you expect anybody to thrive with this bullshit? Pardon my language. Really, how? How can you? How can you expect companies to grow and become something better? And even these prices have gone up tremendously. Even the raw prices. The ESP32s used to not be this much. I'm just going to cut back. There's just, I'm fine. We'll get more later if we have to. Okay. Okay, let's see if Digi has it. They do. All right, so we'll jump over that. That's another thing that you run into is just vendors just not having stuff. Yeah, that's going to be a painful part right there. That's going to hurt. A01. Yep. Yeah. Let's get 5 for now. This is going to be another painful one. So you can go 5. Look at that. Look at that. I just don't understand how. Like I said, we're probably going to have to cut things back. Because I'm still not even through the bomb. Unfortunately, the potential sales price has gone up. I'm not going to absorb this extra cost in tariffs. I'm not. When this product goes in the market and these tariffs are the same or higher, I am not absorbing that. Only one of those. Let's just get 5 for now. Yeah, I'm going to have to go through and clean things up. The cart and drop down our quantities here. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to order any of these, and I'm going to only because I have breakaway headers that I can use for the prototyping, and there's no reason to spend the money on these because I have the breakaway headers. I have the longer strips I can break away. And for the sake of this project, I'm just going to ignore that, and I will just kind of fudge the quantity on that when I get to it. Same thing with this guy. Fudge the quantity. Technically, I need 2 per board. Let's buy enough to do 5 boards instead of 10. So I might go through and just readjust my quantities just to, because there's another one that might actually eat us up a little bit. So we need 6. So we would need like 30 to build 5 boards. Yeah. Yeah, go figure I had to choose an expensive, a higher complexity product. is this. This is what's really doing it. I mean, the parts have gone up by, you know, their default price is already up. Go to order 10. But, you know, we're paying over $1 for them because we're paying for the tariff. We're paying that tax. And we're a little greater than halfway through the bomb. Seriously. We need 2 of these. Look at that. Look at that. Seriously? 35% for a chip resistor? What? 2, 10, 100's not bad. Ah, see? Look at that. 90 cents for 100 of these little boogers. Yeah, I probably should have done a project that 5 parts and we were done, but to me, that's not worth the effort and the challenge. Let's just go all the way. So this, we probably, what value is that? That's 510 ohms. I'm not going to really see that in too many places for now. How many do I need? I just need 1 per board. Let's get 20 of them. Wow. Wow. Just insane. Yeah, we'll go through and fix the cart and update. How many of these do we need? We need 1. Let's go to order 10. Yeah. Yeah, what value is that? It's at 6.8K. I do use those a lot for pick projects. All right. Okay, this is the, okay, 603, 10K. Another one that's used a lot, we need 10. So for 10 boards, we'll just get 100 for now. Because again, this is the first board spin and we might have to change it. Things might change. But if we're going to order parts, I'm not going to sit here and order just like 2 or 3 and then pay the shipping and just not be worth it. So we need 1 of these. It's 120 ohms, an odd size. Let's just do 15 of these. 44. Wow. Wow. All right. 6. 6. Do 5. So 30. Let's see what 50 gets us. All right, that's fine. No tariffs on that. Ooh, finally a part without a tariff. What? 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 Are you joking? And I'm not going to jump around and try to find parts that don't have tariffs. Because then, as you saw, they might already be more expensive naturally. We might end up paying the same. Wow. So 10, we only need 1. Let's just see what 20 costs us. Okay, all right. Fine. It didn't break us. All right, that is 47.5K. That's a value that I've used quite a bit. 1 per. So 10. Let's go to 20. That's fine. All right. That is a 1K, which are commonly used. I need 2. Let's get 50 because that's a commonly used value. 1K is it never hurts. And for some of these parts, I'll use them elsewhere. All right, what value is this? 1 meg. That is a comment of value that. Okay. Kind of limited to this guy. But this is the struggle, guys. This is the struggle. All right. Now, let's see here. How many of these do I need? 2. So it'd be like 20. Let's go get 25. That's not bad. Okay. How many of these do I need? 1. Now, what value is that? A 50K? I'll go and get 20 of them. That tariffs, that's just adding up. Oh, like I said, we'll go through and kind of maybe drop some of our quantities a little bit. Because we're a little ways off before any success, and hopefully things can calm down in the new year. You know, maybe the mind will get changed again. The weave will kick in, and prices will drop. You know, maybe somebody will hand the person in charge a gold desk clock, and the next thing you know, tariffs are dropped. So maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll get lucky by the time we're ready to spin another version of this board. So there's one of these. Use it. We need 10. Let's go over 10 for now. That's fine. It's an odd value too. Okay, these are switches right here. I like these little guys. They're kind of small, I'll admit, but they're nice. Good, solid, tactile feel. And because they're small size, they fit in onto a board a lot better. So I do like these guys. So we need 2, 10. Yeah, and to be honest, I've got a few on hand if I need them. So I'm not going to cry too much to have if we need any more. Now, here's what's going to hurt us. We need 23 of these per board. Oh, man, here we go. 23 of these per board. Now, I'm just going to order 100. And I'm only going to worry about populating one board for now. Okay, that's the PCB. I'm not going to order the jumpers because I have some from hard drives, and this is, from old hard drives and old motherboards and stuff. I've collected jumpers over the years. And for prototyping work, I don't mind ordering on Amazon because, if it's not something I'm going to ship out the door to a customer, if it's internal, I don't care. I have the jumpers. But we do need these guys, the pluggables. All right, those, we only need 1. So 10 for now. And why not? Why wouldn't there be tariffs on this stuff? Why wouldn't there be? Mind you, we still need to get the circuit ports. There's 1. Sad part is we need 3 of these. Let's get enough to do at least 3, 6. Let's get 10 for now. We really only need enough to do one board because it's something we can jump around, have a couple extras just in case. don't know why you do that to me. 10 cents. Let's just go in over there. 10 of these. I think I have some of those in one of my kits, but I'm not sure. I don't want to. I know I have the crimping tool, but I don't want to shortchange myself and need them and not have them on hand. Now these guys, I will tell you, they're crimp terminals. These guys are so easy to lose. You can go at 100. Like I said, I think I have these, but I'd rather make sure I have enough. Now the fan. Let's just order one. No, order two. Only because in case one doesn't work. All right. And that's not including the two things we need to order from DigiKey. So let's look at our cart. View cart. Let's see if there's anything we can kind of clean up. Let's see here. What are these? These are 106. Can we, even if we can just drop these down. Okay, just a little bit. These are the 104s. Okay, I'm not going to cry about that. Let's see. Just looking at the higher dollar ones to see if we can squeak it down a little bit. Look, they have so many tariffs on this stuff. So look at the higher dollar stuff. See if there's anything we can do. TVS diodes. Let's see if we can cut those back. Just need enough for like a couple of boards. Again, we might be able to save. Unfortunately, we can't do much about this. I'd rather have at least one or two extras. This, same thing with this guy. We're already kind of pushing at the bare minimum on some of this stuff. These guys, yeah. Ouch. 100, that's fine because we get that package break. Plus we have, haven't factored in shipping. Look at this. Look at this. Of all that, right there, that is just the additional tax. So what I'm going to do, go through and complete that. Actually, let me see here. Let's see here. Let's go to checkout. Oh. That's one of my other little businesses I have, and everything's. I have 3 saved carts within my account. Hopefully nothing's here. All right. Now, let's see here. Let's make sure nothing got thrown up on me. So what I was hoping for is I'd be able to. Okay, shipping options, UPS grounds looking about the same. I don't need to be sharing all my other information with everybody here. Ouch! Ooh, 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 yeah. Pretty sad. Okay, so one of the things I always try to do is order enough to make the shipping charge worth it. And because it's kind of like a range because it's based off box size and weight. So UPS ground, we're looking at under $11 shipping charge. The tariff is almost $50 by itself. So you tell me how that you make that make sense for me, please. Tax I understand because I'm not doing anything tax exempt. I'm just paying the tax up front, especially because I consider these prototype goods. I don't want to go through that hassle. I just go ahead and pay the tax up front. The sales tax, that's fine. I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and on my other screen, mind you. Yep, I'm fine with that shipping charge. It's not really that bad. Okay, so I can go in and enter a purchase order number. So I'm going to put in P00002 from here. Like I said, I don't want to show all my details. I don't feel like jumping through hoops and editing that out of the video and show it on screen. So there's a spot for a purchase order number. It'll show up on the in the paperwork when I get it, and I can tie it to this guy. So I'm gonna just put that in there. I'm just letting you know that P00002 is going to be on the paperwork. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh wow. Oh, ouch. All right. My credit card's gonna hate me for this. My wife's going to hate me for this. Okay. So I've got that ordered. It was $400 all said and done. I mean, I'm just going to put that out there. All said and done. I haven't even ordered the PCBs yet. So now what we need to do is go to DigiKey. Go to DigiKey. And we'll go here. Let's go back. So I'm going to go to my thing. So that's the those guys. So they have them in stock. And I'm not going to, I've got to keep, and we only need one per board. Let's go ahead and go and get 10. Add to cart. Cut tape. Continue shopping just like that. And those capacitors that were shorthanded at Mauser, I'm going to go and get them. Sorry, I'm doing 1,001 things at once. I don't mean to shortchange you. So they have over 1 million of these guys in stock. So those guys we need 5 per board. So 50. That's not bad. Let's just go 100. I like that value. I'm going to use it a lot in other products. That's fine. Okay. We're going to go view cart because there isn't a whole lot here. Unfortunately, we have to pay another shipping charge, but that's okay. All right. So let's go here. Purchase orders. I bet you that's a request for quotation. Yeah, it is. Okay. So yeah, it's fine. We'll fix all this. So new vendor. So we have to create a new vendor. We're going to call it, we're just going to put DigiKey in here. Helps if I'm in the right spot. DigiKey. I guess that's what we'll just, yeah, okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't care. DigiKey Corporation. This is just for our records. In the long run, you may want to go in and actually put in all the details for these companies by hand. It'd be the right thing to do. And honestly, I'm kind of cheating through this, and I shouldn't be, to be honest with you. But you know, that's me. So we're gonna add. All right. Take that out. All right, we're going to save that, and so we can get PO, our PO number. Highlight that. Okay, so those are highlighted. I'm going to drag this off, and do the same thing I did with the mouse. Log in, because I should have an account with them. If not, I'll log in. I'll check out as guest. Looks like they have me. Yes, they do. Okay, we're gonna FedEx Ground, which is same price as UPS Ground. I'm just gonna do UPS Ground. Okay, ship to me. Hopefully there's a order entry. Sorry, pardon me. I'm really sorry. Even though I'm paying with a card, I want to be able to use I want to be able to. Well, that's only $16.13. So I'll just pay for it this other way. Okay, web ID. Is there a place? Okay, doesn't look like there's a place I could put in purchase order number. I would like to, but I don't see one here. Oh, add order notes. Nope. I don't want to delay the shipment or anything. Payment. Yep. So I can't really put a purchase order in. That's fine. I'll just have to show you how to handle that down the road. So that's like $17 worth of parts right there. $16.13. Okay, so that's all the parts. Now, me being me, no, I don't want to order that deadline. So, me being me, the way I do this stuff, just arbitrarily dates. Okay. So what I would typically then do is go through and just fill this in, put the quantities in here that I ordered and the actual price based on the price breaks. Then it'll get computed into the system. So I created the RFQ, the quote, basically. I'll do that off screen, off camera, because it's just going to take way too much time to go through and fix all this. But basically what I'll do is I'll pull up my order history on Mauser and DigiKey, go in and fill this out. And in the next stream, it'll be ready and I can show you what it's going to look like and then the next steps with this. Again, this is just to help keep track of inventory and everything going on. No super big deal. All right, so go here to JLC PCB. And here's going to be another killer right here. So I'm going to order now. I'll sign in here in a little bit. Here's what's great about this guy. Don't even have to fill out all this stuff yet. So I've already grabbed all the Gerbers and threw it to a zip file. Here's what's awesome about this. So I got the zip file of all the Gerbers. Drag and drop here. So they're gonna take the zip file, they're gonna extract it. And like I said, this is not gonna be, actually what's gonna hurt the most is shipping and tariffs on this too. The actual price of the boards and the stencils aren't, I mean, they're not gonna be like super cheap, but they're not gonna be super horrible. So it's cool. Boom. They kind of show our board. They've already thrown, detected a 6-layer board. They've already kind of looked at it, or kind of look at the Gerbers. We're kind of like what it looks like. So we're going to be SR4, FR4. It's going to be a 6-layer board. They have our dimensions. The cost, let's see here. 10 boards, not much different. Industrial consumer, one different design, single PCB, thickness, green with white, FR4, temperature grade 135. fine by me. It's a glass transition temperature of the resin used for the adhering the PCB layers together. No. I don't want ENIG. Let's see if that drops the price. Let's see if lead-free Hassel. No, you can't. All right, it has to be gold ENIG. That's fine. We might have to change our descriptions and everything for gold ENIG. That's basically immersion nickel gold. It's actually one of the better choices that you would want to use. And I would go with it every time I could. Here's where we're going to get expensive. Outer copper weight. We want 2 ounce. Okay, so our price has jumped up. Inner copper weight, we'll leave at 1/2 ounce. We don't need anything higher. Because our ground plane, 3.3 volt power plane, they're big planes as they are. 1/2 ounce is pretty good for that. But okay, we're not really specify the layer sequence. As long as the vias and everything tie where they're supposed to, it's fine. We're not going to specify the stack up. That's fine. Epoxy filled and cap, that's fine. Minimum, okay. Mark on PCB, remove mark, fine. No gold fingers, no castellated holes, no press fit holes, no edge plating, no blind spots, no UL marking, no back drilling. Stencils. Yes, this is going to be another framework. So I want framework stencils. These are nice, and you'll see why. Now, top and bottom separate stencils. Okay, here we go. Thickness, okay, 2 stencils, solder paste stencil. So red glue. So in assembly and processes like that, so what you can do is for SMT parts, let's say that are going on the bottom of the board, and you've got through-hole parts. So say you want to wave solder this, because you want to wave solder the through-hole parts in one process without hand soldering. It's sometimes a lot faster. So what you can do is you can place the SMT parts on the bottom using a special adhesive, basically a glue, and it places the parts and they get glued to the PCB, but there's no solder paste. You're basically gluing instead. So then you pick and place as normal, the glue sets while you're doing other things, and then you put your through-hole parts in, and then you put that assembly into a wave machine, and it solders everything all at once. It solders all the through-hole parts, and it solders the SMT parts using a wave machine. Now, polishing process. And this is a little bit more, but I like the electro polishing. It helps it so you can clean the stencils off better. They get cleaner. Any of the orifices for fine pitch micros and parts get nice and clean. It makes life so much easier. It's worth the extra money. Again, I'm going to stress in this video as many times as I can, just because I'm buying parts and materials. I am not encouraging you to do so. Don't spend money you can't afford to spend. Just don't. Make sure that's, so we've got our board options here. We've got our stencil options. Make sure top and bottom separate stencils, 2 stencils, framework. Everything else is okay. The thickness is fine because it's usually 0.012 millimeter or something like that, which is more than sufficient for solder paste. Engraved, blah, blah, blah. Packaging, their logo's fine. So there we go. Just make sure. We're going to save that to cart. All right, so it's just going to log me in. That's fine. You don't see my password. I'm fine. I don't care. There we go. All right. Now, notice how it kind of dropped the price for me. Let's make sure it still has the stencils. No, it didn't save the stencils. It did now. Okay. Save to cart. View cart. Okay. 10 boards, 2 stencils. Want to make sure because I've accidentally forgotten to have the stencil in there. I had to order one separately and pay separate shipping charge for it. So make sure you check that. Shipping estimate. This again, this is where it's gonna hurt. Okay. FedEx. Okay. I don't have a DHL account. So let's just go to FedEx Express. It's gonna save us a little bit of money. That's fine. Because remember, you're coming from across, you're coming from China. So you're paying all those fees. Yes, it hurts. I don't like it. I really don't. But it's the name of the game. This is still right here a lot, and I'm just gonna be honest, straightforward and honest. It's still a lot cheaper than using an American board house. Yes, there are companies that manufacture raw PCBs in America, but they don't do low-level batch levels, like quantities of 10, low enough costs to make it worth it for a hobbyist level or somebody just starting out and getting into this. They don't, unfortunately not. And for the PCBs alone, it's just not worth it. You still get it cheaper. Even at this cost, this is still cheaper. This is still more than half cost of just the starting out quote for getting these assemblies from an American board house. It's just unfortunate, but that's unfortunately the way it goes. So I'm going to kind of drag this off and do the same thing with ordering it. All right. Shipping address right there. Tariffs. Mother. Again. How anybody can thrive in this inhospitable climate for manufacturing and development is just research and development is just beyond me. I just don't understand it. You're not going to get innovation at this rate. You're not. You're just choking out companies that could do better, that could do anything new. All right. All right. Pay directly. We're going to submit the order because we're looking at almost $70 in just duties and tariffs. Okay, I'm not using that method. Get that going. Yeah. This happened before, but we'll take it. All right. Okay. So, all right. I'm going to look at the invoice real quick. Ouch. 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 All right. So, here. Yeah. Because they're 6-layer stencils, 1543. All right. Now, unfortunately, I would have to create an item in the system. Because unfortunately, things like shipping charges and tariffs, you still want to track. So let's see what happens. We'll leave that alone. That's for the raw products. So order deadline was, let's say tomorrow. give it 2 weeks. So yep, that should be the recipient, receive deadline. We're gonna confirm the order. All right. So it's been ordered, and we just gotta wait. So this is a request. So let's see, not acknowledged. I don't know why it's saying not acknowledged, because it's acknowledge. Okay. Don't need to do that. Okay. That's fine. So so if we go here, orders, purchase orders, that's actually a purchase order, request for quotation. Okay. This looks a little different than the version I use for my business. So I guess I can understand that. So again, I'll kind of do the same thing I did with this, like update the quantities and costs. And do it to these guys on my own time before the next video. And have everything update and show you all that. So the next video will be just covering the stuff I needed to update and need to fix for this. And then maybe that's when we'll start catching up on some of the documentation and organizing some of the stuff. Things like QMS, maybe some of the project management stuff that I keep overlooking because I got to come here under project. So there's a bunch of stuff. So I already did all that. Did that. Generated the BOMs. So we did that. We did that. We'll be doing that. So then we'll create those documents to do the testing with and the review and everything. The build. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so that's good. All right. Well, thank you everybody for. Yeah. There's I've been doing this for years, and yeah. So so a viewer mentioned something about the tariffs. Just they are. It's just they are. The tariffs are just destroying it. It's just really making things difficult to do anything with. Even if at a hobbyist level, I can understand why even hobbyists aren't doing this anymore. So I work with a couple of guys, at least one guy, that went to school for electrical engineering to study, basically hardware, like what I do. And he's doing firmware development because not only just the amount of, extra steps and, waiting for hardware, but because the cost. Why do hardware when you can do software for practically no charge at all? You can download VS Code for free, gain access to all the major programming languages like Python, the C variants, and write some web apps and do all this great stuff, develop on your own PC for barely any cost at all. Whereas I dropped nearly $500-600 in just this one project. And this is just the development of this project. That there's a big inconsistency there. No wonder everyone wants to shift to software. So I thank everybody for watching. I thank you for watching and interacting in chat. I'm always looking forward to any comments, any questions. I'll answer as best as I can. I'm not perfect. I probably made some mistakes. Anybody who may have caught them, please feel free to comment or just let me know. I like learning, and the only way you learn is if you make a mistake and either you notice it or somebody else notice it for you. You don't learn otherwise. So I will be streaming tomorrow at 2 p.m. My normal schedule. Again, we'll be covering different aspects of this while we wait on parts to come in. because again, we're looking at least 2 weeks, week and a half to 2 weeks. I usually pad it to 2 weeks, especially when you have to come, across the sea from China. It could take some extra time. And then customs being the way customs are right now, things you get snarled up there at customs and just not make it through on time. So thanks for checking me out, and have a nice evening, and I will catch you tomorrow.